Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We were looking at the fundamental problem of a human being, which is nothing but a feeling of inadequacy, a feeling of being limited with reference to different things, a feeling of being a wanting person. All these things are in your own judgment, self-judgment. So the fundamental problem of a human being is self-non-acceptance. You are not able to accept yourself as a limited, inadequate, wanting person. Now, this situation is not going to change whatever you may accomplish, how much ever you may accumulate things. You are still the same inadequate, wanting person. So your pursuits in this world with reference to accumulating things, with reference to gaining different experiences, are all futile, really. Any change you make with reference to yourself and the world is not going to change you fundamentally who you are. You are still the same insecure person. You are still the same person who can be subjected to displeasure, sorrow. You are the same person who is still a mortal, who has limitations with reference to what you can enjoy. You can be only in one place. And even whatever you enjoy, it all depends on so many things, your own senses, your state of mind, and a conducive object. So this is a futile exercise, really. So the one who recognizes the futility in all these things looks for something deeper, starts to analyze one's own experience with reference to all the things which you have done in this world, and you come to a conclusion. What is the conclusion? Whatever I want is freedom from inadequacy, freedom from being subjected to sorrow, freedom from any form of limitation. So I cannot accept myself as a limited being. So I want to free myself from all forms of limitation. How do I do that? I have to become the limitless. The limitless alone is free from all limitations. But can I become the limitless by doing something? Can the limitless be achieved as the result of any action? Means it cannot be. Now this is what the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad says. Pariksha lokan karma chitan nasti akritaha kritena. Kritena akritaha nasti. This is the conclusion one has to arrive at. By doing something, I cannot gain something which is not the result of any action. It cannot be produced. Limitless cannot be produced. It cannot be attained by cleaning something which is already impure. It cannot be reached, and it cannot be attained by modifying something which is already there. None of these things you can do. If it is really limitless, it has to be limitless with reference to time. means it must be already there now. It must have been there, it must be there, it must always be there. If it is really limitless, it has to be limitless with reference to space also. That means it has to be there right here, wherever you are. So limitless has to be available here and now. If it is available here and now, I must already know that, but I do not know. So why am I not knowing it? That's a different question. Then we have to say there is an ignorance with reference to whatever is already accomplished. So that is why our pursuit is not accomplishing something which is unaccomplished. For accomplishing an unaccomplished thing, karma is fine. It is the means. It is the sadhana. You are not already there in Mumbai. You can go there from Chennai. Means you have to take a train, an aeroplane, whatever it is. There are so many means. You have to do some karma. But if you are already in your home and if you say, no, I want to go to my home, means you have some ignorance. You are disoriented with reference to where you are. So you have to be made knowledgeable. So the pursuit becomes one of knowledge, because what you are looking for is really accomplishing the accomplished. Accomplishing the accomplished can happen only if you have ignorance, and you have to get rid of it with knowledge. With knowledge, we accomplish it. So this much we have already seen. So now our pursuit has become one of knowledge. Initially, it was one of freedom from all limitations. If you are looking for freedom from all limitations, you are called a mumukshu. Moktum ichuhu. One who is desirous of moksha is called mumukshu. Moksha itself is freedom from all forms of limitation, bondage. It can be called liberation also. But I don't want to use terms like salvation, which is really not our term. Because you cannot salvage something unless you condemn. And we are not condemning anybody. Now, this pursuit of knowledge means now I have to understand how knowledge takes place. What is the nature of knowledge? We already saw that knowledge takes place when there is a knower, there is a known object, and then there has to be a means of knowledge which is connecting the knower and the object of knowledge. We are all born with certain means of knowledge, which are our sense organs. So we have a means of knowledge called sense perception. We know things through our sense organs and mind. We are able to see things, we are able to hear things, we are able to touch, smell, hear, like this, all this, and taste. So these means of knowledge, sense perception, we are born with. Now this perception is useful for us to know about the world around us. All the objects in this world, we are able to know through sense perception. Nowadays, the same sense perception is enhanced through telescope, electron microscope, and all that. Correct? We have enhanced perception. Then we also saw that there is a means of knowledge called inference. Everything cannot be known by only sense perception. If a fire is there in a distance on the hill, the fire, the flames themselves may not be visible to you from wherever you are. Okay. But still I can see the smoke from a distance. Now, I have already seen fire and smoke in a kitchen, and I have the knowledge of invariable concomitance, we call it, correct? Invariable concomitance means what? If B is there, A is there. If A is not there, then B is not there. Correct? Both this equality and inequality, if it is known to you, wherever there is smoke, there is fire. If there is no fire, there is no smoke. If you know this connection, sambandha, then wherever you see smoke, you can infer that there is fire. This is a one-step inference. This we call Anumana in Sanskritam. The sense perception is called pratyaksha. So pratyaksha and Anumana are the major means of knowledge we use to gain knowledge about all the worldly objects, the world in general, which we encounter. But in all these, whatever we are doing throughout our life, we have not tried to know the knower. The knower is taken for granted, or whatever identity is foisted on you by others, by the society, you have taken upon that identity and you are going along with that. So the nature of the knower has not been analyzed by anybody. That is called avichara siddha. You have taken yourself for granted, but you are spending a lot of time to know about this world. Okay, all the degrees you are gaining, anything you are doing, correct? All the Discovery Channel you are watching. Nowadays, lots and lots of content is there. Everything is expanding your knowledge about the world around you. Some of them is also giving you ignorance. Along with knowledge, fake also is spreading. In fact, most of the things you receive as forward, you should reject. 99% of all forwards are fakes. Unless you can personally verify something. So it is better, in fact, be responsible. Don't forward useless things to others. Anyway, that's an aside. What I'm saying is, you have taken yourself for granted. Your own true nature you have never analyzed or arrived at or made an effort to know. You have assumed a certain identity that I am so and so, I am the son or daughter of so and so, I am restricted within this particular body, I have a certain body mind sense complex, my identity is based on that. And whatever are the defects of this body mind sense complex are all my defects. I am ignorant, I am lame, I am deaf, I am blind, I am hungry, I am thirsty. All this I am and whatever comes after that, all that you have taken for granted, you have never analyzed the truth of all these things. That's where you are. And whatever means of knowledge which are there at your disposal, the sense perception and inference, they do not actually help you in knowing yourself. Sense perception and inference is only revealing to you objects of knowledge in this world. In fact, traditionally, we also list few more means of knowledge. All of them are only useful to know this world. So we say comparison also is a valid means of knowledge. Then there is something called arthapatti, we say, which is more like a two-step inference. Otherwise, it is not possible. Fat Devadatta does not eat during the day. Pino Devadattaha dinena bhunte. Then what is the conclusion you arrive at? Anyatha anupapattihi ratrau bhunte. Otherwise, it is not possible. What is that otherwise? He is eating at night. So this kind of two-step inference based on two different cognitions and trying to actually reconcile seemingly contradictory cognitions. You have to say otherwise these two together cannot be there. Therefore, you arrive at a certain knowledge that is called arthapatti. Many people include it into some kind of inference itself, which is okay. How you categorize it is not very important. Then we also say there is a means of knowledge to know absence. Again, that many people include it into perception itself. But some people are more particular about all these things. So they say that perception only reveals to you a table. It does not really reveal to you that the pot is not on the table. Really, it is only showing you the table is there. You bring the pot into your mind, and also you bring a certain knowledge that given the current condition, the absence of pot can be known by the non-cognition of the pot. Is that clear? Always non-cognition of something does not mean that there is an absence of that thing. Something may be covering also, correct? Or there may be darkness. In darkness, so many objects are there, but you are not able to cognize. But given that there is light, you are able to see the table, but there is no pot. So in the given condition, non-cognition leads to the knowledge of non-existence of something. So that is not included in perception straight away, because it includes perception plus whatever you are bringing into your mind, correct? That particular object and other whatever the conditions also together, putting everything together, only you perceive the non-existence. So it is considered separately as a means of knowledge. That is also okay. So all these things broadly we can say that we have these 5 means of knowledge to know the world. Now there is one more means of knowledge. That is what we are interested today. What is that? That is the word. Words, shabda. So there is also again words or shabda. When we say there is laukika shabda, then there is the Veda. Veda is our all the knowledge of our rishis, which is coming down in a certain lineage, is the Veda. So Veda can be considered as a body of knowledge, which is in the form of words and which is coming down in an unbroken lineage. And how it has been preserved is a wonder. In fact, it's the greatest wonder in the world. In fact, UNESCO has now recognized Vedic chanting, that parampara, as a intangible heritage of humankind. Why? Because it has been preserved in an oral tradition perfectly. It is like whatever they were chanting thousands of years before, same thing is going on even today, because they have different pathas. When they learn the Veda, they not only learn the normal progression of the words, okay, they also learn. So normal progression of the words is called the normal Samhita Patha. You memorize that. In fact, you break it and then you learn and then you memorize. Pada Patha also they call it, each word. Then Krama is there. Krama means what? A, B, B, C, C, D, like that. Or 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. They chant like that. Then there is one more jata. The Gana is the most complicated way of chanting the Veda. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. This is how they chant the words. That's why the Gana of even a simple Gayatri mantra, they can chant for 5 minutes, because they'll be chanting like that. With all these pathas, nobody can go wrong. Okay, even if you have doubt in the Padapata, you can always go to the Ganapata or Kramapata or Jatapata, all these pathas, and then reconcile. There is no doubt in the words of the Veda. It has been preserved like that for us in an oral tradition. That is why it is not lost also. If we were dependent on only books, on manuscripts, invaders came and destroyed so many libraries here. Nalanda burnt for weeks, they say, or months. So many manuscripts, knowledge was lost because invaders think that only one book is good enough. Everything is there in their book. Burn all these things. These are all false knowledge of whatever non-believers. But people ran away. It's there. Everything is there in their head. And they could teach it to others. So they can start a Guru Shishya Parampara wherever they are, even from the forest, or they ran to some other kingdom. So like this, it has preserved. So this words as a means of knowledge is used all the time. We read books. Others come and tell us, you have never been to the Himalayas, let us say. Somebody can come and describe to you how beautiful the Himalayas is. In fact, even it defies description. Many times you go there and you stand. It's glorious just to watch the mountains, the snow, and the sheer size of the mountains. In fact, it's nothing like anything else which we see. So it's difficult to describe in words, but we can give a certain description to people who have not been there. So words can give indirect knowledge. Okay. Of course, you can then go and check whether whatever your neighbor told about the Himalayas is true or not. You yourself can go there. Or nowadays you can watch on TV and all that, but even that you don't know whether any image is okay. It confirms certain things, but it is not the same as you going and standing there and experiencing the same thing. So words can give us indirect knowledge that we all know. We have gained a lot of knowledge through the words of our teachers. We have also confirmed that knowledge by making it direct knowledge also, by going and experiencing certain things yourself. So you learn in the classroom, you can go and do practicals in the lab, and then that is more like a direct knowledge, correct? So words are very important means of knowledge. Lot of knowledge we are gaining through words. And initially, if the object of knowledge which is revealed through the words is not available to you to experience, then words can only give you indirect knowledge, correct? Like Himalayas is not right now available to me in Kalidai-Kurichi. And if I have never been there, if somebody is describing the Himalayas to me, then it is only indirect knowledge because I am not experiencing the mountains. But when I go there, it becomes direct knowledge. I can confirm. But let us say I have come from some country where there is no mango. There is no mango tree at all. There are many countries like that. So this person has heard about mango, how tasty it is, great, etc. Then he comes, he doesn't know any Indian language, he comes to India, he goes to the market, he gets a mango also, but he doesn't know it is mango. He's eating it, still he doesn't know it is mango. Then he goes to his friend with mango in hand and says, I have eaten so many fruits in India, still I don't know what is mango. Then what does it friend say? Hey, Whatever you are right now eating is mango. In fact, this is what you have been searching. Whatever you have been searching is right there with you. This is mango. Oh, this is mango? Means there the words are revealing to you something direct, correct? Because the object you are already experiencing. But experience need not always lead to knowledge. Understand that. Experience can lead to knowledge, but experience need not need to knowledge also. And there can be even contradictory experiences which we have to reconcile to arrive at knowledge. So experience itself is not knowledge. Experience is dumb, in fact, and it can even confuse you sometimes. So we have to be careful about that. So in this case, even though you are experiencing the object, you did not know it as whatever it is. So somebody's words gave you that direct knowledge. So words can reveal both direct knowledge and also it can give you indirect knowledge. Depends on whether the object of knowledge is there within the field of your experience or not. Now, I already told you there are laukika shabda, means worldly words, means words spoken by people, books, but there is also Vaidika shabda. Or shabda in general, in fact, is taken as knowledge given by the Vedas. Now, what is unique about the knowledge given by the Vedas as a body of words, as a group of words? Now, Veda also is revealing to you certain things which you cannot directly experience. Okay. So, indirect knowledge is given by the Veda. What is that? Veda says there is a Swarga. Now, heaven, that is Paroksha Jnanam, we say in Sanskrit. Paroksha means what? Indirect. It's not direct. Pratyaksha means direct knowledge. Paroksha means indirect knowledge. It is away from your eyes. Aksha is eye. Paroksha, away from your cognition. So whatever, heaven is not cognizable. Even if somebody says, I went to heaven yesterday and came back, means you will send him to some mental asylum, correct? Or you look at him like a ghost. So nobody can say that he has gone to heaven and come back and all that. You are not expected to go to heaven with this body. In fact, you have to, also it is said that you have to give up. After death only you have to go. Means you are surviving death. That is also revealed, correct? Unless you survive the death of this physical body, you cannot go to heaven. That is in fact true in almost, in fact, all theologies say the same thing. Okay. Any theology says that you follow me, you follow this prophet, or you follow this person, or only this God. You believe in that God or prophet, you will go to heaven. How? When you have to die. That means you have to survive death. I, as an entity, as a person, I have to survive death. And then that person still has to travel somewhere to heaven. Now, these things are revealed by the Veda also. So, Veda also reveals to you something which is like Deha Vyatirikta Atma, we say. A self which is separate from this body, mind, sense complex. Now, that itself, most scientists and all nowadays, they don't accept, correct? They think that a human being is nothing but a conglomeration of all these cells, molecules, atoms, subatomic particles, like that. They say that there is nothing other than this. Mind only they don't accept. Okay. There are many modern scientists who do not accept the mind as an entity. They say it is a epiphenomenon of matter. You bring matter together, and whatever the behavior of that looks as though there is a mind. Mind is an epiphenomenon of matter, nothing else. There is no mind really. In fact, those who accept a mind are called dualists in the modern terminology, I think. And those who say there is only matter, they are all monists. In fact, they are Advaitis, but they are material monists, they are called. They say that everything is matter. But everything is matter itself is challenged. That position was okay before quantum mechanics and all that, before science evolved. But now, everything is matter itself is a problem. Most scientists, when they study the subatomic particles, they have to say that there has to be an observer to collapse this matter. But what is the nature of that observer also they are not very clear. Still research is going on. Okay, at least scientists are open-minded. Many of them are humble people also. They know the limitations of their knowledge. So science can go so far, but it has not gone further. It has its own limitations, boundary conditions, all that. So now Veda is saying, it is saying that you survive death. So there is a Deha Vyatirikta Atma. Then what? Dehantara Sambandhi Atma, also it says. There is an Atma which will take another Deha, another body. And with that other body only you go to Swarga. There you enjoy. Okay, on what basis I go to Swarga? That also Veda tells you. You have to gain punya. You have to accumulate punya. That punya only will take you to Swarga. The punya will make you take a particular type of body with which you can enjoy in Swarga. Now, how long can I be there in Swarga? Till the punya lasts, you can be there in the Swarga. Okay, in our tradition, there is no eternal heaven. Understand that eternal heaven is illogical. Eternal heaven means it has to be there already. It has to be there now. It has to be forever. There is nothing like that. You cannot reach an eternal heaven. It has to be there here and now, like I told you. Eternity is not just long time. Understand that. Eternity means all time. So you cannot go to an eternal heaven. It is illogical. If any theology promises you eternal heaven, it is all nonsense. You have to reject it because it is illogical. But Veda is not saying that. It says you can go to Swarga, but you will be there till the time your punya is there, and then if the once Shine Punya Matya Lokam Vishanti, once the punya is gone, you will again come back to some other world, mortal world. From the world of the Devas, you will come to the world of the Manushya, mortals, human. Like this, it is revealing to you certain things. All this is indirect knowledge. Understand that. I have no way to even verify. Even if somebody says that I have gone to heaven and come, you cannot really accept that. No way of verification also. Okay. But it is there. This knowledge is coming to us through the words of the Veda, and it is indirect knowledge. Now, whether you want to accept it or not is another thing. We'll talk about that. Whether we can accept it, whatever the Veda reveals, is it believable or not? that is something you have to make a decision. What is the basis on which we can accept whatever the Veda is saying? How can you prove? Correct? Everybody is asking for proof nowadays because they are all scientific people. Okay, this scientific word is being misused like anything nowadays. So in the name of science, people are asking for proof. So how do I, of course, so all their questions becomes your question, correct? So how do you get it answered and get it clarified? We'll come to that. But this much now we understand that the Veda is revealing to me many things which are indirectly only known. I have no way of verifying it or directly knowing also. In fact, it goes one step further. How to gain this punya? You do all this Vaidika karma, you do your duty, you do certain puja, you do the right thing in a given situation, then you gain punya. This also the Veda says. Swarga kamaha jyotishtomena yajeta. The one who is desirous of going to Swarga, you do the Jyotishtoma. It is a fire ritual. Now, what is the connection between Jyotishtoma, gaining the punya, going to heaven and all that? Only the Veda knows. Correct? It is revealing to you all these things. These things you cannot know from anywhere else. Understand that. Veda alone is revealing to you this. And it is also indirect knowledge. You cannot verify it here. This is what is called the Karma Khanda of the Veda, Purva Bhaga of the Veda, where it is revealing to you different means and ends. The ends themselves sometimes are unknown ends, like the Swarga. Swarga is not knowable from here. But sometimes the end is knowable here. It says, if you want a putra, you can do putra kameshti. There is a yajna called putra kameshti. In fact, if you read Ramayana, Dasharatha did not have any children. Then he got Rishya the great Rishi. And with his help, he did Putra Kameshti, this yajna. And that is how all the Rama Lakshmana, they were all born. In fact, I know currently, even like 20-30 years back, a very wealthy couple, they didn't have any son. Then they were advised to do Putra Kameshti. They did it and they had a son also. Of course, even after you do Putra Kameshti and get a son, you can still doubt whether whatever I did alone resulted in this or it's only a coincidence and all that. But they did it, they got a son. Okay. So they think that there is a certain correlation is there definitely. So ends are known. You want wealth, Veda is saying you do certain things. So like this, sometimes ends are known, but means are still unknown. And the connection between the means and end also is unknown. Correct? Putra Kameshti, only Veda is revealing how to do that. And still you don't know what is the connection. But if you get the result, whatever you wanted, at least you say that there is a correlation is there. I did this, I got this. I don't know whether any causation is there or not, but correlation is there. Now this is the Purva Bhaga, Karma Khanda. Known ends, unknown ends, but means are unknown, connection is unknown. But Veda is revealing. Either you take it or leave it. It's up to you. Whether you want to use the Veda as a means of knowledge and do whatever it is saying, or you don't do, means you won't get anything anyway. Veda also says that if you do the wrong thing, you will gain something called papa. So punya papa, karma, the theory of karma is very, very Vaidika. Our tradition it is, correct? But this Concept of karma has become very popular now all over the world. Everybody is using it in the right way, wrong way. But even about that, we'll have a discussion later. But here, what I'm trying to tell you is, in fact, 95% of the Veda is only this karma khanda, where the Veda is revealing to you different means and different ends. It is like a supermarket. You go, you take whatever you want, whatever you are interested in. Because it is karma. Knowledge alone is not enough. You have to do it. Only when you do, you get the result. So karma khanda means you have to know what the Veda is saying. In fact, there is something called iti kartavyata. How to do. You have to know what to do. You also have to know how to do it. That also is listed, and there are even other literature is there. Sutra literature, Kalpa Sutra and all that. There are commentaries for that. So you read or you go to those who know, and they will be able to do it on your behalf also. There are some qualifications also. Everybody cannot do all the rituals. In fact, there are even qualifications like you have to have black hair, Krishna Keshaha. The Yajamana has to be Krishna Kesha. I cannot do that now. Maybe little bit I have Krishna Kesha here, but even that may not qualify me. So, qualifications are also there. Based on all this, you can do, and result will come mostly after your death, or sometimes if it is a known end, you can enjoy it in this life itself, like a putra or vitta, wealth. Now that is one, but then there is one more thing also the Veda is revealing. What is that? That is the end portion of the Veda. In the end portion, the Veda is talking about you, the nature of yourself, your reality. What is the reality of the doer, of the enjoyer, of the knower? Because I take on all these roles. But what is the reality of this knower, the doer, the enjoyer? This is analyzed and the reality is revealed. That portion is the end portion of the Veda. That is almost like the last chapter. That is why it is called Vedanta. Now you understand Vedanta means what? The end portion of the Veda is called Vedanta. It has a different subject matter. Okay, its subject matter is not about doing anything. It is about factual knowledge. It is about your reality, who you are in reality. What is your nature? That is why it is called Jnana Khanda. Okay, it is Jnanam. It is revealing to you knowledge about yourself. Nothing to do here. The entire 95% or even more than that before that, chapters after chapters, they are all talking to you that if you desire this, you do this. If you desire this, do this, like that. If you want this, you do this. But small portion in the end, the Vedanta is about who you are. Are you really what you think you are? Whatever you have taken for granted now, it is revealing something about you. It is asking you to analyze yourself. So that is the Vedanta. Now that also is in the form of words. But the beauty there is, it is now trying to reveal yourself. Self is available here and now, correct? Nobody can say, I don't experience myself. The only thing I'm intimately experiencing all the time is myself, correct? If I ask you, are you there? What will you say? You have to say, I am there. My existence, I know. How did you know your existence? No, I have to see. I see my hands are there. My beard is there. I can see it. therefore I am there. Is it like that? It's not through any sense perception that your existence you have to know. In fact, you have to be there to even use your sense organs, your mind. Even when there was no knowledge of sense organs and mind, in deep sleep also I am there, because you can get up and say, I slept well. I enjoyed my sleep. I sleep, I dream, I am awake. I is the invariable in all these states. So many things change between the states of our experience. The experiencer is invariable, is common. Correct? So I am. I don't have to use any sense organ to know that. Or neither I have to do any inference. I am married, therefore I have to exist. No, nothing like that. In fact, if there is no perceptual knowledge involved, there cannot be any inference also. Then how do I know I am there? That is what we say, self-existent and self-revealing. This Atma, the existence of oneself need not be arrived at by using any means of knowledge. Is that clear? It is not the result of the operation of any means of knowledge, neither perception nor inference. I am. That is all the time there. I am self-evident, self-existent entity is the truth. But as soon as you say, I am so and so, all the problem is starting from there. Okay. All your problems are starting when the I am is associated with the body, with your mind, with your senses. Sometimes it even extends figuratively to your children, your family, your country. That I am can extend, and all the problems of your children, your family, your country also becomes your problem. The more the I am is extending, more problems. That is your reality. That is what you think is your reality, at least. And you are suffering because of that. So what does the Veda come and say? It is revealing to you your nature. In fact, it is actually demolishing all the wrong conclusions which you have about yourself. Because you already know you are there. Veda need not establish your existence or anything, or reveal yourself to yourself in that sense. Everybody has certain knowledge about oneself. One's own existence is known. We know ourselves as a conscious being to whom everything becomes evident. Correct? That is there always. But I have certain wrong notions foisted on me, superimposed on me. That is what has to be removed. That is what the Veda does as a means of knowledge. It is a means of knowledge made up of words. In fact, it's like a mirror, we say. Why do we say it is like a mirror? It is called Shastra Darpanam or Shabda Darpanam. A mirror made up of words. Why is it a mirror? Let us say you want to see your eyes. Okay, then you are doing like this. Whatever you do, you can you see your own eyes? Whichever way you bring your eyes, you can bring it like this as much as possible. Eyes cannot see itself. Why? The subject cannot objectify itself. Is that correct or not? Subject can only see other objects. Eyes can see everything else. It can even see the face, maybe a little bit. If you do like this, I can see my mustache at least. Maybe if I bring the beard here, I can see the beard. But even more than that, some people who have a bigger nose, or even I can see a little bit of the tip of my nose. Maximum I can do that, that's all. But eyes cannot see itself. Then what do? I go and stand in front of a reflecting surface, in front of a mirror. Now some people object. If you want to see your own eyes, turn inwards. Why are you looking outside into the mirror? These are the people who say, why are you reading Shastra? Why are you reading the Veda if you want to know yourself? Turn inwards. You can go, how much ever you turn inwards, you are not going to see anything. The subject cannot objectify itself and know. Only a mirror can show. Correct? I want to see my eyes, I have to look into the mirror. But in the mirror, I see my own eyes. I see my own face. It is the same with reference to the words of the Veda, the Vedanta particularly. It reveals your nature, the nature of the subject, which can never be revealed by any other means of knowledge. Okay. So this much, if you understand, then you can start the study of the Vedanta. Okay. So we'll further see the nature of words as a means of knowledge, and even little bit more we have to understand how Veda itself becomes a valid means of knowledge, or even what is a valid means of knowledge, what is valid knowledge itself, we have to analyze and understand properly. All that we will do next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.